22nd North Providence School Committee meeting. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The school committee had an executive session. However, there were no votes taken in executive session. Next order of business is approval of minutes for regular meeting on April 24th.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 5, we have no correspondence. Item number 6, public comments. We have one individual who has signed up, Ms. Blumenthal. Would you come to the podium? And you want to speak on bus transportation. That mic should be on.
Hello, I was here last time too. Sorry. I was here last time too, and I know you have it on the agenda, but I do want to address my concerns with the bus limitations that have come up. And the more I think about it, the more concerned I am about it. I do not want to be here in front of you, hearing some 5 or 6 or 7-year-old got hit on Mineral Spring and died. Okay? Because they have to cross that street. And it's a dangerous road. It's not like it was in 1980. You have people texting and driving, you have people with road rage, and the population is more. Never mind the fact that what are we going to do when it snows? A lot of times the roads aren't even safe. Never mind child walking down the street. So I'm asking you to please really think about this. If there is a parent or someone in need of that bus transportation, that they come to you and you make a decision versus the bus company, because they do not have the parent or that child's needs in mind. They only have their bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I can move this item up from new business. We were going to address the transportation and busing situation. So thank you for coming this evening. As you know, just to refresh the memory of the public, the school committee has actually taken steps by passing a policy to increase the availability of transportation to elementary students. As I said at the last meeting, the eligibility limit was any child a mile or further away from the school. The recent policy passed by the school committee will provide bus transportation to anybody 0.75 or 3/4 of a mile away from the school. So that will obviously expand bus transportation. So there are some families who fall closer to the school than 3/4 of a mile, and they've reached out and asked about the feasibility of transportation for their child. And as we explained by state law and by school committee policy, our first obligation is to make sure that we have enough seats we have a seat on the bus and can get kids to school on time and get kids home on time. And that the first priority would be for the kids who are eligible by policy for transportation. And then we are able to look at additional situations along the way. So I'm very pleased to report that Mr. Feroli, our Director of Transportation, has been working very closely with Lieutenant Ryan Emerson of the North Providence Police Department. They have looked at all of the routes that are going to be affected by the transportation. Regarding parents who have sent us inquiries about certain individual circumstances that are concerning to them, that process is ongoing. A lot of those issues have been resolved. And Mr. Feroli will be working with the North Providence Police Department. And ultimately, it's the decision of the North Providence Police Department as to whether or not a walking route is safe or if there is an alternate walking route. And if there is a walking route that is deemed unsafe, there are a variety of options available to us to make it safe. And that could include repositioning of a crossing guard, hiring an additional crossing guard at certain locations, or in some cases, allowing a transportation exemption if none of those things are viable. So that process is still ongoing. And as I said, most of the situations that have been brought to our attention have been resolved in one way or the other. We do know what the busy, um, concerning roads are in the town. Obviously, Middle Spring Avenue, Douglas Avenue, Smith Street. Those are the main thoroughfares that get the attention of the police department. So they're aware of that. They're working through the process. In the end, there will be some families who live closer to the school than 3/4 of a mile, who feel that the route is unsafe, um, that may not get transportation. But the route will be made safe one way or the other, either through, as I said, repositioning of crossing guards or additional crossing guards. So I would encourage anybody who still has a concern to reach out directly to Director of Transportation, Mr. Feroli. And also Lieutenant Emerson has said to us that if there are any families that have any questions or concerns regarding their assessment of the route, he too is available for anybody to meet, call, contact, and he will definitely, explain the situation. But they have literally gone out, Mr. Feroli, in the North Providence Police Department, and most of the routes have been walked, and so they're in the process of sorting out what to do regarding individual circumstances that we've been made aware of. So that's an update to, obviously, the public, but also the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Goho. Item number 7, consent agenda. Chair
So
will
moved.
entertain a motion.
Motion made.
Motion made, second. Any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, superintendent's report. Mr. Goho.
Thank you, Dr. Pilata, members of the committee. Very exciting yearly tradition for us in North Providence and school committees across the state, which we recognize and thank our building teachers of the year who've been elected by their colleagues, by their peers, to be teacher of the year in their particular school. So, there's nothing more prestigious than being elected and recognized by your own colleagues. And then we will announce this evening the district teacher of the year who will represent North Providence in the selection for the state teacher of the year. I want to thank Mrs. Seisinger and her committee, who are in charge of overseeing this process and making sure that it is done with fidelity, and that we have a very fair process that identifies the good work of all of our teachers. Very difficult to identify who would be the district teacher of the year. I know this year was no different. But I am going to call up the building teachers of the year, and I'm going to ask, if you can, to line up to on these two tables to my right. You will be presented with a citation from the school committee by Dr. Pilata. And once everyone is here and up front, we will have the grand announcement of the district teacher of the year. So I'm going to start first. Birchwood Middle School, special education resource teacher. Their teacher of the year is Cheryl Casanelli.
If you can just turn around. I will just read one citation, but all the citations have the same language. Town of North Providence School Committee citation. Be it hereby known to all that the North Providence School Committee hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to, and the recipient, in recognition of the recipient of the 2024 Teacher of the Year, and then the school name. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. Proposed this 22nd day of May, 2024, signed by myself and Superintendent Goho.
Congratulations, Cheryl. Yep, so right there. This is the next one I'll do. Okay. Our next recipient from Centerdale Elementary School, And I remember the interview when I hired her. I said, that was a phenomenal interview. We need to hire her immediately. I think I took her right down to the human resources office. I said, Matt, we need to hire her now. So, grade 4 teacher, Samantha Woznicki. Okay, our next recipient at Greystone Elementary School, special education resource teacher, Victoria Weinberger. Our next recipient could not be here due to a medical situation, so I will still recognize and thank the representative from McGuire Elementary School, grade 2 teacher, Denise Turcott. Congratulations, Denise. There's a number of McGuire staff here in support of Denise, who had a minor procedure and just couldn't make it, so we thank Denise and congratulate her. Alicia, if you would mind extending our congratulations to her. The next one, from North Providence High School, a grade 11 and 12 social studies teacher, Mr. Taylor Rabbit. Yeah, Ben. Congratulations, Phil. Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, you were hired right around the time of the birth of your son. That's right. I remember that. Okay. Next recipient from Ritchie Middle School, special education resource teacher, Tara Branch. Congratulations, Tara. Next recipient, multilingual learner teacher at Stephen Only Elementary School, Gabrielle Silva. Yep. Yeah, so we know that Gabby can sing pretty good too. Yes, she can. Congratulations, Gabby. And last but not least, from Wayland Elementary School, grade 5 teacher, Vanessa Puccio. Congratulations, Vanessa. Okay, so with that, gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2024 North Providence District Teacher of the Year. Can everybody hear me? Vanessa Puccio. Come on up, Vanessa. We have a special citation for you. Come on up. Vanessa, the school committee has any citation?
Congratulations. You're welcome.
All right, so just a little information about Ms. Puccio. She's been teaching for 12 years in North Providence. She's certified in elementary ed grades 1 through 5. And some of the highlights of her application. She uses multiple accommodations and modifications within the classroom to inspire and support students and to help them express themselves, and she continuously praises her students' success. She's very innovative in her integration of technology in the classroom. She's very active in the community and the school, including a member of the Wayland Safety Team, member of the Wayland PTO, North Providence High School Tutoring Program. She engages in professional development, which she readily applies in the classroom. She received the GOAT Award from the New England Base Camp. This award is awarded once a year to an educator who embodies the NIET founders, example, and model of, quote, learning from and with other educators in the service of our students. She is noted for her enthusiasm, her positivity, and dedicated teacher who has a wonderful relationship with students and families and colleagues. She consistently communicates with parents regarding any positive feedback or concerns and needs of her students. So once again, the 2024 North Providence District Teacher of the Year, Vanessa Puccio.
On behalf of the North Providence School Committee, we congratulate all the recipients. Thank you for your excellence in education. Thank you for your caring about kids. And thank you for all the contributions that you make for each of your schools. Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Before we move on to the next item, I do want to acknowledge the approval of a retirement this evening, grade 2 teacher Cheryl Thibodeau at Stephen Olney Elementary School. I want to thank her for her service and wish her good luck and health in the future. The next item on the agenda is the update from our social emotional learning coordinator. As you may recall, the district received a federal social emotional learning grant, which allowed us to continue the funding that we received through federal ESSER funds, in which we utilize during the pandemic and post-pandemic to hire a district-wide social emotional learning coordinator to help our students and families and staff members with the considerable needs that we saw post-pandemic. And then we are very happy and pleased to receive that federal grant to continue that work to fund this position for an additional 3 years. We're very happy and thrilled to be able to hire Christina DiLorenzo, who comes to us as a former teacher in the Providence school system. And she has done a phenomenal job. And so she's here tonight to update the public and the school committee on the work that she has done to bring social emotional health to our district.
Thank you.
Christina.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to all of the amazing teachers as well. This will not be nearly as exciting as that was, but I'll try my best. So I'm Christina DiLorenzo, the Social Emotional Learning Coordinator for the district, and I appreciate the time here tonight to give you a little bit of an overview of what we have been doing in the district this year to support the emotional well-being of those within our district communities. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, clarification of the SEL vision, the rationale for SEL, the brief review of what we've been doing, our current progress, and really looking ahead into 24-25. So our vision is to cultivate a community of individuals who are empowered with the emotional intelligence and skills to thrive personally, academically, and socially. So anytime we're referencing social emotional learning, what we're really talking about is the development of emotional intelligence. And so we're trying to empower our students everyone in our community to be able to face and overcome challenges, to be able to communicate appropriately and effectively, to be able to build meaningful relationships, to be able to collaborate with other people, to be able to thrive and be contributing members of society. So this is directly connected to our North Providence School District vision and mission through comprehensive social emotional learning initiatives. So when we look at our overall goal for the district, which is to prepare our students for college and career readiness, right, in the 21st century. So what that really means is that we're looking to be able to support our students with the skills that they need to be successful in college and afterwards. And when we're actually looking at the career and college readiness skills report, half of those skills are actually social emotional skills. So this is directly connected to our underlying mission, which is providing rigorous academic environments and personalizing that for each student. So this is where we're using SEL as a foundation, as a lever for equity, to better ensure that our students have access to the academic and rigorous environment. So our strategic objective is to address the social emotional learning needs of students and staff. So as mentioned, this is all supported by the BSCA Bipartisan Safer Communities Act grant to be able to provide resources for establishing safe, healthy, and supportive learning opportunities and environments. So that's where I come from as the SEL coordinator. That's supported by the grant. The adoption of the ruler program into the district, which I'll touch on shortly as I speed through all of this for the sake of time. Our dog therapy program, which is currently in the district, and then our data collection as well. So the continuous cycle of data collection and SEL screeners, which will be coming forth. A large part of what supported the grant itself and what continues to support the initiatives that we are working on comes from the SurveyWorks data. So as just a very brief snapshot of the spring 23 SurveyWorks data, just to kind of pull out a couple of pieces, here 27% of the surveyed students reported stress interfering with their ability to participate in school a tremendous amount or quite a bit. So we had 32% that reported not at all. So if we break that down, we're really saying a large majority of students are saying we're having a hard time with struggles and challenges and still be ready to learn and still be conducive to the learning environment. And then if we look at another piece, 61% of teachers surveyed reported their students' inability to remain calm even when being bothered. So teachers are seeing this too. And what's happening is a lot of those students are leaving the class to get external support. And so what we want to do is to be able to support within the classroom and ramp up those tier 1 supports. So we're doing that through systemic SEL, which is an approach that ensures that SEL is actually woven into all of the students' educational experiences through the use of consistent tools, consistent language, and consistent strategies. So what that means is integrated into every facet of the learning environment. Classrooms, policies, within the school culture and climate, resources, actions to actually support social emotional learning. So this is alignment across the district, what it looks like. So if I were up there, I'd be kind of like pointing to my diagram. But right in the center, we have all of those core competencies, and that's what everything is built off of. The self-awareness, social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision-making, and self-management. Those are our goals, right? The end goal is ultimate self-management for each individual. So that looks like it starts in the classroom, right? We have explicit teaching of lessons and skills. We have conversations. We have specific goals that are set. That does extend into the school environment as well, the climate and the culture of the school. That's unifying themes. That's specific goals set for within the school. That might be challenges, different things happening within the school, events. And then also families and communities. So increasing parent communication, family communication, events, education, and so on. Why? So this actually comes up often. There's so much data to support the need for social emotional learning in schools, but it still comes up as a question. I know even when I talk about this, often we say why, right? We know that there's data to support the academic achievements. There's data to support increased attendance. There's data to support increased mood and positive climate, but what's going on right now that says we really have to implement this. We really have to ramp up our social emotional learning objectives. And there's many things, right? One is the research. So the research says if you do this in this way, it works, right? And the other thing is as was mentioned, there has been a huge uptick in mental health crises, especially post-pandemic. There have been other things happening within the world as well, and changes in family dynamics, and so on and so forth. But you put that all together, and there is an urgency or a need to better support the emotional well-being of students and staff. This is just a little bit more of the impact on students, national evidence, some of which I've mentioned already. A lot of what happens is we see the immediate changes, we see those intermediate, and then we see those long-term. And the immediate is really we just have better mood. People are feeling better, right? And when you're feeling better, your perspective changes as well. So that enhances the climate. Those intermediate is what we're seeing in terms of increased academic achievement. The intermediate is increased attendance. The intermediate is, students doing better overall, having better communication skills. And then the long term is where we're seeing the career readiness, the college readiness. We're seeing adults who have the ability to emotionally regulate on their own. Okay? So our current initiatives, first is building level SEL teams. And this is going to look different for each school, but we are in the process of doing that, and the goal is to have an SEL lead from each school. Right now, there's varying degrees of the involvement in the SEL teams from the schools, but that is currently underway. Universal resources. So this is where the ruler approach comes in. So ruler is the program that's been adopted, that has been being implemented for the last couple of years, which is an evidence-based approach to social emotional learning, which has been developed at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence and supports entire school communities. And this is where we're seeing the consistent use of tools and the consistent use of language and the consistent use of strategies. So this is something that this program within is really helping to bridge the gap and support the emotions matters mindset. Ruler uses 4 anchor tools, which is also helping to aid in the consistency and the approach that's being used. And that first tool, just to kind of give you a very brief overview, is the charter. And the charter is a feelings-based statement, feelings-based document. And this is established by the community. It sets norms. There's classroom charters, there's staff charters, there's school charters. And this is holding everybody responsible and accountable for committing to this norm. Okay, so this is saying like everybody wants to feel this way, and it's not one person that's responsible. We're all responsible for creating this type of environment that we want for feeling this way. The second is the mood meter, and this is a tangible tool that helps with self-awareness. So it's a very hard thing to kind of pinpoint what you're feeling and how you're feeling it in what way. So this particular tool actually helps to give a visual to understand how much energy you have versus where your mood falls. And it does increase self-awareness and ultimately emotional regulation, because if you can recognize it, then you can also work on it and you can shift it. Then the third tool is the meta moment, and the meta moment is actually teaching people to respond instead of to react. This is saying, how do we walk you through the process of taking a moment to think about these things and plan accordingly. And then that final tool, which is the blueprint, is about perspective. So this is really the reflection. And this is where we are saying, what happened? How did it happen? What did you do? And what could you do differently? And that's supporting the building of actual skills. Okay. We also have the Pause from the Heart Therapy Dog program, which has been a remarkable success. And so what's happening is these therapy dogs are actually going into the schools to provide emotional support, build social connections, communication, learn SEL skills through the use of the therapy dogs in a number of ways. And Pause from the Heart is actually an entirely volunteer organization, and they have teams of handlers and their dogs, which are actually the owners and their dogs. And so they come on their time, and they're going into each school to go into classrooms. We've had reading corners. They're doing different events, career days, just kind of meeting and greeting students, playing games. So many different things to promote social interaction, communication, connection among the individuals. Here's just a few pictures. I was actually thinking there was a dog prom here in the library too, and I should have added pictures of that because that was probably the most interesting. But over on the left is Ranger, and I put that one in because that's with Sue, who is the director of the program, and she's amazing and incredibly committed to the district. And then we have Willow, who's been going to Wayland, and on the end we have Milo, who has been going to Centerdale, and there are more. So some pieces which are evidence of practice. things that are actually visible throughout the district. Visible mood meters in every classroom. So this is saying like we're using the tools. The tools are here. We're ready to kind of implement them. Evidence of use in most classrooms. And teachers have autonomy to be able to use them how they would like to use them in what way. So there might be magnets, Google Forms, discussion boards, boxes, morning meetings, share outs, all different things. The charters created at each school, a lot of these were done before I even started, but they're hanging on the doors, they're in classrooms, they're in hallways, they're being referenced. School charters, class charters, staff charters, the use of shared vocabulary, which also is building upon the feeling words and the emotional expression words. Integrating art and SEL lessons. So there's like a huge overlap between art and SEL already. And so now working in some of the art departments to be able to continue to build that and piggyback off of that, taking explicit SEL lessons and putting them into art. There's things happening like snack and SEL times, gratitude Fridays at different levels that are just actually contributing specific time to work on these skills. Evidence of calm down corners, break spaces, self-regulation corners, providing students space, opportunity, and tools to actually work on self-regulation. Explicit teaching of self-regulation strategies, again, because we want to be able to have students build the strategies and learn the strategies, not just do the activity, right? So it's not just about doing yoga, doing breathing, taking mindful moments, but learning that these are strategies that can be applied to just about any situation. And then also the consistent therapy dog visits at most schools. This is just an example of one of the charters that was developed by Birchwood actually this year, which was phenomenal. So this is their Birchwood community practice. Thank you to Brian. And then this was a Ritchie Middle School staff charter that was created actually at the end of last year in the springtime. So a couple of examples there. And then looking ahead into 2024, 2025, which is already upon us, some goals. there's many actually, but this is just a little snapshot. Continuing to promote and grow the emotions matter mindset. So that's the biggest thing. And sometimes it's really just the awareness of it. This is what we're doing, right? This is our safe space. This is how we can be. We support this. Implementing SEL screeners in grades 3 through 10, which I'm looking at already, getting feedback from other individuals, continuing to gather feedback in different ways. So trying various tools and strategies and teaching practices, family strategies, and providing feedback on them. Universal monthly themes and competencies across the district, and this will help to build consistency across so we're all on the same page as well, and everything can stem off of that. Grade level assemblies, expansion of the pause program. So the goal is to have a consistent presence in every school. So filling in the gaps of where we have now, again, it's all volunteer based. Expanding family communication and resources and education as well. And then finally, expanding community partnerships. Thank you. I appreciate it. Blunt ending. If you have any questions or feedback, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? I just have one question. Can you
Sure.
go back to survey works slide?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the 27% of students reported stress interfering with their ability to participate in school. Does that mean that the stress is happening in the home and in the community? And if it is, how do you address that?
Say that one more time. Is it happening in the community, like at home?
Is the stress factor happening in the home or the community, and how do you address that?
So it could be it's not necessarily pinpointed if they're experiencing the stress from outside or inside, but when they're faced with a particular stressor or challenge that they're struggling to then also focus and participate in school activities and learning and doing that well. So how do you address it is this way, is by providing students the skills to be able to manage those challenges, to manage those various feelings and to actually work through it. So if I bring you to one of the tools. So if you look at that mood meter, I'm going to actually come over here. So this right here is the mood meter that says, like, green is where we're feeling really good. Green is like our energy is good, our mood is good. Yellow, our energy is really high, but our mood is also still good. Red is our mood is not so great, but our energy is very high. And blue is like our energy is low and our mood is low. Now I'm showing you this and pinpointing this for a reason. It's because we often feel like we always have to be great. We have to be that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Di Lorenzo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, as you can see, Ms. Di Lorenzo brings a lot of positivity and energy to the position. Thank you so much.
Okay, item number 9, school committee reports, requests. Just to notify the general public that our June school committee meeting will take place on Monday, June 17th, 2024. Item number 10, we have no old business. Item number 11, new business. Mr. Goho?
Yeah, and just as a reminder, that is due to the fact that the meeting was originally scheduled on June 19th, 2024, and that's a federal holiday. New business, item B, I would request approval of the enclosed Chartwell's NPSD catering contract renewals.
Motion made.
Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, in accordance with our federal grant that we have received to expand our recycling efforts through all of our schools, I would request approval of the enclosed recycling program memorandum of understanding as submitted.
Happy to make that motion.
Any questions on the MOU? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Last item, I would request a motion to approve the 2025 junior prom contract with Crystal Lake. The date of that would be May 9th, 2025.
Motion made.
Any questions?
Where's Crystal Lake? Where's Crystal Lake?
Yeah.
Oh, Barbara. Okay. Okay. Just wondering.
Hearing none. All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Goho. Item number 12, approval of bills.
Motion made to approve the bills as presented.
Any questions on the bills? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, use of property.
Motion made to approve the use of property as submitted.
Second.
Any questions on use of property requests?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, request to address the committee. We have none, and we have no pending business. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Motion made, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.